and worth the cost to the consumer? And how do we determine the efficiency of that decision? And by the way, what happens to solar when the sun goes down? Another source of renewable energy is electricity from electric drive vehicles. And when connections are made, it allows the electricity to flow from cars to power lines. This is a process called vehicle to grid. I would ask, do these cars have within them the energy source and the electronics capable of producing the electricity that powers our homes and our offices? And is this a practical way to increase clean energy in this state? The Energy Storage and Power Company has recently patented a method of storing energy as compressed air. Some would argue that this process requires a suitable geological formation that can be used as a compression tank beneath the facility in order to make it viable. And I would add, would we be better off spending this money on building wind power generators and sending electricity directly into the house rather than this method? And finally, what about all this green infrastructure initiatives? These initiatives stress subsidizing new construction with green products, weatherizing older structures, replacing exterior glass and heating, air conditioning, and hot water units in order to increase energy efficiency. I would ask, are subsidies a relatively easy way to encourage business and private citizens to becoming more energy efficient, or do the costs outweigh the benefits? As you can see, there are a lot of possibilities and just as many questions about the efficiency and cost effectiveness and validity of each of these green energy methods. Our panelists this morning bring various perspectives to these questions, and we will give them each 15 or 20 minutes to talk about their ideas and their thoughts on some of the issues that I raised and those that are more critical than I've addressed. For those in the audience, we will not be taking a break. If you need to use the restrooms during the presentation, just feel free to leave. And the five experts we have up here, their task is to inform us about this energy and greenness and technology improvements that are on the horizon. What I'm going to do is introduce briefly the five speakers, and then they will come up in succession to give their presentation, and we'll have questions at the end of the five presentations. Our first presenter is Dr. Clinton Andrews. Clinton is an associate professor at the Blaustein School of Planning and Public Policy at Rutgers University and director of the program in urban planning and policy development. Clinton has come to tell us about green buildings and weatherizations measure up as an alternative to large capital projects, which is now a highly funded component of the federal stimulus plan. He will also be opening our panel discussion by telling us how to distinguish between good energy ideas from not so good energy green ideas. Our second speaker will be Dr. Mohsen Jafari. Professor Jafari is from the Department of Industrial and Systems Engineering, also at Rutgers University. And he will be presenting his research on the way green energy reform may affect consumer manufacturing. His work focuses on modeling the energy and environmental value associated with the production, use, and decommission of consumer goods and services. Our third speaker will be Willett Kempton, who is the Senior Policy Scientist at the College of Marine and Earth Sciences at the University of Delaware. Dr. Kempton will be suggesting that vehicles-to-grid storage is a viable solution to the problem of fluctuation. Willett will argue that electric vehicles can be used as a resource by the electric system, promoting petroleum-free transportation while at the same time enabling integration of our large wind resources. Our fourth speaker is Dr. Zamir Sakar. Zamir is an energy analyst from the Center for Market Innovation at the Natural Resource Defense Council and is a staff researcher at the Princeton Environmental Institute at Princeton University. Zamir will tell us about the advantages of compressed air energy storage and power, which is the method of storing energy as compressed air, commonly referred to as CAES. And finally, Governor Corzine's energy policy advisor, Mr. Kenny Esser, will be talking about New Jersey's official energy policy and about his role as the governor's policy advisor. And he will be bringing us an image, I think, of the future of green energy as seen from the governor's office in New Jersey. By the end of these 5 presentations, we hope to have answers to at least the following questions. What, if anything, can hinder New Jersey from gleaning 13% of its energy from wind by the year 2020? How does energy move from remote wind and solar farms into the homes of New Jerseyans? What kinds of green energy methods and proposals are most practical, and where and by who is New Jersey's money best spent? Does solar energy face the same problems as wind? With so many ideas for solving the problems of energy infrastructure, who should make these enormous spending decisions? And finally, are large-scale, expensive infrastructure projects the only answer to clean energy? And with these questions, let me begin the panel with Clint, please.